Hello, welcome back to Craft with Ronnie. I'm Ronnie Johnson, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm bringing you Techniques Tuesday. Today I wanted to follow up with a little bit of what we worked on last week, where I talked about using Stampin' Write markers to color with. And I said there were lots of other uses for these markers and that they were an inexpensive way to get started coloring. So today I'm going to show you a different technique. Last week we colored directly onto the stamp. This week we're going to use these as a palette and we're going to watercolor with them. So I'm going to start out with showing you the stamp set that I chose to use for today's Techniques Tuesday. It's called In the Moment, and it's one that it's a particular favorite of mine. I've had it for about 2 years and I find it very useful. So we're going to start out. We're going to stamp our images using Memento black ink on a sheet of white cardstock. Don't worry about the measurements, they'll be on the blog. So I've already went ahead and stamped my image and my sentiment, and now I'm going to show you how I color it. My favorite tool for this is just a simple acrylic block. It is inexpensive, easy to use, and a lot of fun to work with. We're going back to those blender pens that we talked about last week. They're super fun to use them for a lot of different things. Last week we used them to take some ink off of a project. This week we're going to use them to put some ink on a project. So I'm going to start working the windows. So I have my Stampin' Write marker here and I'm using the Balmy Blue. I'm going to take the brush tip and I'm just going to scribble onto my block. I'm going to take my marker and I pick up that ink and just start coloring. It's that simple. Pick up a little more, add a little more color, a little more. And I could do as much or as little color as I want. I love the look of watercolored pieces. So once I've got that done, I'm simply going to take a piece of scrap paper and I'm just going to clean off my marker. I showed you that last week. It's just a real simple little brush it off. And I'm going to turn my acrylic block, put down a little bit of the brown. This is actually early espresso, so I can do my window frame. I think it shows up a little bit better on the camera too. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of it and just start dragging it and dragging it. Like I said, you can do it some areas darker. I like that idea of a shadow, and then it gets lighter. It really is all about how much of the ink that you pick up from the marker. Okay, again, I'm just going to clean off that little marker, and this time I'm going to add a little Gorgeous Grape. Pick that up and work on my pillow. So I'm not going to paint the whole project. That would, again, be like watching paint dry. But I am going to show you the colors that I did choose to use for this particular stamp set. And I picked Early Espresso. That was my window frames. I picked Balmy Blue. That was my windows, the window outside. I picked Gorgeous Grape for one of the pillows. Granny Apple Green for the other pillow and for the coffee cup. I used Sahara Sand for the hair, and I used Crumb Cake. Actually, no, I think I chose not to use Sahara Sand. I pulled the Crumb Cake in instead. I thought the hair needed to be a little darker. Night of Navy for her jeans. A little Melon Mambo for her blouse, and then Blushing Bride for her skin tones. And let's take a look at what the finished product looks like. And there you have it. A simple, easy card made just with markers and blending brushes, or blending pens. I hope that you enjoyed this little technique, and I hope you join me again next Tuesday for yet another Techniques Tuesday. I will have the full instructions for the card posted on my blog later this afternoon. Until we meet again, happy crafting.